Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Dave, and on this channel, I like to share my love for Lego investing, my Bricklink store, and general reselling. This particular video, I'm going to be kind of sharing some fun stuff with you. I'm going to give you a full tour of my current inventory, at least as much as I can possibly fit on camera. And I'm going to talk a little bit about patience. That's going to kind of be the running theme in this episode. And I think it makes sense to just kind of open it up by talking real quickly about how important patience is. So if you're investing, and it doesn't matter in what it is, whether it's actual stocks and bonds or whether you're investing in cards and Lego and all the fun stuff, in essence, that we get into in the collectible world, the thing to keep in mind is that searching and hunting for the quick flip is a lot of time, energy, and effort. And I'm not saying that it doesn't sometimes pay off with some really big rewards, but sometimes you kind of get stuck with a stinker. And you find yourself sitting around, hanging on to something longer than you did, and maybe that hurts your cash flow. Maybe that causes a mix-up in the plans that you had, and that's a challenging situation to be in, which is why I like to play the long game, I guess is what I would say, in that patience has to be my ally. Because when I buy these sets, I'm not intending to flip them in a fast manner. And therefore, it's going to require a lot of patience to leave these things up here, to look at them on a daily basis and know that that's what they're meant to do, right? Being in a rush to try and figure out which ones I can hurry up and pull down and sell so I can squeak a little bit of margin out of, that's not why I bought them, right? I didn't buy a $100 set to sell it for $150 and take home $120 after fees and make 20% on it. I bought that $100 set in hopes of selling it for $200 to $300 so that maybe I take away $200 after fees. And that's my plan. That's my goal, is to try and maximize my value by keeping them around longer term. And I realize that you could go back and average that ROI out on a yearly basis. And in some cases, maybe you would be better off if you bought it and just really waited until the first sign so where you could make that 20% and then you sold it and you went out and rinse, repeat. But the amount of time that you have to put into it is something that you also have to consider, I think. And the investment side of my Lego business, of the channel, is something that I fully intend and hope that it's a kind of a self-sustaining thing that doesn't require a ton of effort on my part, right? I want to grow it to the point that I'm churning some amount of sets out on a yearly basis. And really all I'm doing outside of that is replacing that sold inventory with inventory of at least equal value once I get it to the cap that I want in the Lego collectible investment. And so playing that quick flip game, that's just more transactions, more hands-on, more opportunities to have a failure in there. And so I think it's really important to keep that in mind, that what is your goal, right? If it's to make the most money as quick as possible, maybe the quick flip game is for you. But I know that based on the strategy and based on the level of effort and work that I want to have around it, that's not for me. And that means that patience is king. And I think I talked about this a little longer than I intended to. So let's go ahead and show you and give you a little bit of the tour of the stuff that I've got sitting around. And I'll talk to you a little bit more about patience and some of the thoughts that have kind of been running through my head here. All right, so many of you are probably very familiar with seeing this shelf. It's the one that's behind me. It's the one that was actually behind me in the little clip that you just got done watching. And this is what I refer to as my shelf 1. And I tend to organize my stuff based on themes or types. The top shelves are a little bit different, possibly. I do have more of a mix up there. But the biggest thing to know, and you'll see this as a running theme here, is that I've got a fair amount of sports cards and Pokemon cards, in essence, starting to invade this area. And I'm not going to get into that this video, but do know that there will be more on that to come. But just to kind of give you the quick insight here, we've got a ton of the Lego Disney stuff in here, Lego Toy Story. We've got the Friends stuff is mostly consolidated on this particular shelf. We do have some Unikitty product back there, some Minion sets. We come up here, we've got some of the Disney princesses, some more Friends. There's some more Disney Elsa stuff back there. We've got more Princess or Disney sets in the back. And then the sports cards have kind of overrun that shelf. Going up to the top, this is where I keep most of the Duplo. And I showed this during one of my last Duplo episodes. You can see I got a lot of it up there. This box here is Duplo as well, but that's for us. I've got a large steam train. But then I do have some larger other sets. So I've got some of the Lunar sets. I've got some of the blacksmiths. I've got a couple of the larger Friends up there sticking with the theme. And if I remember right, this is another one of the Friends sets. I think it was like the shopping center or something like that. But this is what my shelf 1 is. Mostly Disney, mostly Friends, a little bit of my Duplo stuff mixed in up top. Moving over, we got shelf 2. This is primarily populated with 2 themes. Clearly you can see the Star Wars stuff up top. We've definitely got a few of the Death Stars up there. We got a bunch of the AT-STs. We got some, the Y-Wing back up there. I do have the Lego art ended up hitting this just because of the larger set. We've got some Slave 1s, R2-D2. Coming down, the other theme that is shared in this is Lego Movie 2. And this is one where, luckily, I'm a fairly patient person. So kind of ties in with the theme of this episode. But the Lego Movie 2 stuff, I bought this when it first went on clearance. So I've probably had these sets for, it's had to have been 4 years now, I think. 3 or 4 years. And the values are still not amazing. So I'm still holding. I'm still keeping them there. I think inevitably one day they'll at least get back up to where I can double my money, considering that I got them on clearance. But patience. We're still waiting. You can see we've got a large section of the Star Wars here. A whole slew of sets. Oh, I do have the city. So city's kind of divided up in 2 sections. I've got most of my city themes down here, or city sets, that are in the smaller boxes. In essence, land on this shelf. At the very bottom here, ignore this row of stuff in front of it. These are things that have not been populated onto a shelf yet. This is my in-processing area. But down at the bottom, we've got all the larger Lego Movie 2 sets. So definitely a lot of Lego Movie 2. A fair amount of Star Wars, although really a lot of this stuff had to be packed away into what I call long-term storage, which is the area back there with all the boxes. So those are the sets that I know are going to be a while before they're really retired. And it's just best to kind of clear them out from my normal inventory so that they can sit longer without me staring at them. Moving over, shelf number 3. We've got more Lego City. This is most of the larger stuff, the larger sets of Lego City. I do have a fair amount of Classic. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I think Classic is a really horrible theme to use as an investment, but I got them on super cheap clearance, and so whether I give them away as gifts or prizes, or whether I decide to part them out, it's kind of undecided on those, but those are up there. This shelf also contains all of my Marvel and DC sets. So you can see some Spider-Man, Batman, superheroes type stuff in there, as well as Super Mario and Lego Dimensions. So those also are found here. And you can see I do have some older sets that are actually prime and ripe, whatever we want to call that, ripe for the picking. And I can't pull that out. I got to move some stuff. Anyways, I think that's the Arctic, it's the Penguin Mobile, whatever it is. Anyways, I got a couple of the Lego Batman sets. Those are obviously a little bit older and have matured. I also have one of the older Avenger sets there. And we move down to the next shelf, and we have a lot of the newer Avenger stuff, mostly. We've got the Egg Mech Fighter down there, one of the Lego Batman sets. And then I got I think it's half a dozen or so of the Creator London buses. I'm kind of waiting on those. I think they actually might still be available, or maybe they just retired. Anyways, those are going to be sitting around for a while, I think, because they were available for a very long time. The shelf below it's a little bit different. It's really hard to see, but those are just a bunch of bulk brick purchases that I've had in the past, minus this top one here, which if you can see, actually houses some G.I. Joe figures in it. That's pretty much it for this side of the shelves. Let me go give you a quick, brief tour of the other side before we wrap this video up. All right, we're over on the other side, and we're starting things off with our mostly Harry Potter set. You can see I've got a couple larger sets up here, and the Ninjago ones are part of my personal collection. That's the Docks and Ninjago City. I do have a Diagon Alley and Assembly Square, and the Corner Garage over there are also my personal collection. But then I've got some tree houses, I've got a bookshop up top, I've got a bunch of these Harry Potter Hogwarts trains. Fingers crossed those are going to perform really well. You can see we've got a lot more Harry Potter sets. Kind of going down here, we got 3 complete shelves, a little bit more than that. And then at the very bottom, we've got a little shelf with some of the smaller Ninjago stuff. I think I do have a couple Alter Dragons down there, which are probably retired, and I could pull those off and start pitching those at this point. But sticking with the patience theme, I don't think I really want to just find single sets at this point. I want to look for some larger chunks that I can pull and send out. Going over shelf number 5. This is our Minecraft and Jurassic World and Hidden Side. So you can see at the bottom here, I got a ton of Hidden Side stuff. All of this was found on clearance. I don't think I paid full price for any of the Hidden Side stuff at all. Going up, we got Minecraft. Minecraft, I did actually purchase it. I'm going to call it manufacturer's suggested retail price. But it was a little less than that, I guess, because of the rollback. Anyways, I got most of these on just minor sales. There are some that I got a little deeper discount. And I went a little deep into the end battle. At the time I was kind of getting into this, I was fully expecting that, hey, look, there haven't been a whole lot of sets with Ender Dragons. And it also had an Enderman in it, which I thought was super exciting. But it stayed on the shelves for a long time. So I do have a fairly large position in those. I want to say it's about 50 sets. So definitely going to have to be a little patient with those, because I think you might still be able to actually get those today. Going up, we've got Jurassic World. Some of these are actually retired at this point. I just haven't gone through. That's hopefully what next week video is going to be about, is actually identifying some of them that have retired, just so that, well, not just that they've retired, but they've hit the ROI point that I mentioned I wanted to hit earlier, so that I can start getting the cycle going, right? If I want to keep the system self-sufficient, I do also need to identify when they need to be sold, pull them off, get them sold, take that income or that profit and invest it back into additional new modern sets that'll take another 2 or 3 years to mature. You can see we also have some Technic. You've been staring at these Pokemon things. I did end up going into, and I know that this is a little bit of a faux pas with the LEGO community, but the Pokemon theme is owned by Mega Constructs, and so I found these on clearance, and I couldn't pass those up. The other theme that I ended up getting was Masters of the Universe. You can see there, 75% off. Paid $5 for those. Like, how can you pass those up? I have a whole slew of poly bags found here. I think there's, 8 bins of just poly bags. And many of those are probably performing okay at this point. Some of them are older. I do need to thin out my personal collection on top of that. But anyways, a lot of poly bags there. Up at the top, we got some of the more idea sets. So we've got the Sesame Tree. I guess I don't think this is an idea set, but I do have the Haunted House, the NES set. That one's my own personal one. Some Technic stuff up here. Larger Minecraft and the chess sets. That's kind of what's rounding out that shelf. This shelf over here is going to be a pain to get to. So we're just going to talk about the top. But the stuff below it includes a lot of architecture, and I apologize I can't show you that. This is my wife's shirt bin. So here you can see that we have smalls and medium shirts. I forget what V stood for, but anyways. Back here we have some of the large Legoland exclusive sets that unfortunately have recently come to Target, which means that they're going to be sticking around a little bit longer. We have a fairly large investment into the Space Shuttle set. I think that set is going to perform very well. I do need to get it to the retirement point and let it sit for a little while after that, though. Next to it, we've got the Caravans. You saw those in a recent video. And then we've got some more Legoland exclusive castles in here. We got some of the calendars. And then some general creator sets. I'm usually not a big fan into the creator stuff, but when you get them on a good clearance, it's kind of hard to pass up. The modular buildings, you can see it's a little bit of one. I think that's the toy shop. Those perform really well. I'm really excited to be able to move those. Over here we got Speed Champions, and then again, down here behind these are a bunch of architecture sets. Last thing probably worth mentioning here is I have a whole slew of Banana Men up here still. I do need to get some more of those shipped into Amazon because I have run out of stock. So that is it for my inventory. Again, minus the stack of boxes over in the corner, my long-term storage. Those are a bunch of newer sets that I need to be patient with. So I hope you guys all enjoyed the tour of my shelving. Again, patience is going to be key in the Lego investing space, in my opinion, at least based on the strategy that I've got. Let me know if you saw something interesting on the shelf that you think I should identify and pull into my short-term, not flipping, but in my near-term sales pile. I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm calling that. Anyways, if you saw something that I should be pulling off the shelf to get sent in to be sold, please let me know in the comments down below. That's the next big thing. I've been talking about it forever, but I'm hopeful that next week's video is going to be about me pulling some stuff off of this inventory and sending it into Amazon so I can get that churn going. I need to keep it up. I have been doing a lot of sourcing and not a lot of selling, as many of you have noticed based on the sales numbers that I've been reporting here recently. So I need to get that changing so that I can have a sustainable system. Otherwise, my bank account is going to continue to suffer, continue to plummet, and that's not what investment is about. And I've had a lot of these sets actually for a long time. Maybe not a lot of them. I definitely went in a lot heavier starting in that kind of 2019, 2020 time range is kind of when I really started going heavy. But I do have a lot of stuff that predates that, and I've got a whole lot of stuff in my personal collection that I'm probably going to downsize as well. I hope you all enjoyed seeing the inventory that I have. Looking forward to sharing more of the Lego investment sport, hobby, whatever, the passion that I have for it, I guess, with you in upcoming videos. So if you haven't already, please go ahead and click on that like button below, and we will see you next week. Bye.